Yesterday, I had a case of the Mondays. I was cranky. I was driving to work at Chapel Hill, and I came to this four-way stop. And to the left of me was this dirty white van. You know the type, big old cargo van. I imagine it probably had painting supplies in the back, but maybe something else. But it was definitely really dirty, and the engine was loud, and it was belching a little bit of smoke. And it was struggling to get through the intersection because it was an uphill climb for this van. And I immediately started having negative thoughts about that driver and about that van. And then out of the passenger window came a dog. Not the whole dog, just the front half of the dog. It was like a German Shepherd. It had its front paws on that windowsill and thrust the whole front half of its body out the window. And it had the biggest grin on its face. Its tongue is sticking out of its mouth. Its ears are up. It's looking back and forth. Clearly a very, very happy dog. And I actually said in my van, I actually went, "Doggo!" Because I love dogs. And that dog was so happy. It was contagious. And immediately I stopped focusing on that. This van is dirty. I started focusing on that dog. And my impression of that driver, who I never saw, immediately changed from, oh, there's a guy driving a dirty van that isn't very well kept up, to, oh my goodness, this guy is taking his dog for a ride, probably taking it to work. What an awesome person. Isn't it funny how our perspective can change like that so quickly? You know, I'm really familiar with perspective because I do a lot of photography and a lot of videography. And part of that is choosing what's going to be in the frame. That is, what is the final image going to be? What am I going to show the audience? When I film, I'm always making sure the edges of the set aren't in the frame, that you can't see the microphones, that you can't see the lights. It's not that I'm trying to deceive anyone. I'm not trying to trick you into thinking that, hey, this person walked into the studio and we just happen to have this background and the lighting's perfect and the audio is great. I know I'm not fooling anyone with that, but I'm trying to present a story that's not going to be distracting. And so I remove some of those distractions from the frame. In the same way, a lot of photographers, especially in nature, when they go out and they take photographs, you have this huge wide world that is beautiful, but a lot of the times you focus in on one thing to present that one image that you want people to see because there's something in there that's telling a story. It's all about the perspective. Again, they're not trying to trick you and say, hey, look at the world, and you're not seeing the power lines or the roads or the half-built houses. It's not that they're trying to trick you, it's that they're trying to get you to focus on something they want you to see. You know, we see this on Instagram a lot too. There are a lot of people who present these images that if you're not careful, they can like kind of creep into your soul and make you feel that maybe you're not good enough because you didn't give your kids, well, because I didn't give my kids beautifully round pancakes with perfectly placed blueberries. Well, if I were to back out from that shot though, what you're not seeing is all the pancakes that got messed up before that one. The blueberries smashed on the ground from kids running around, the flour everywhere, the stains on the placemat. Whoever's taking that picture, they're being very careful to frame it and show you just the part they want you to see. There's even some fun behind the scenes movie photos where there are a lot of movies where you think you're seeing this big city, but it's actually this model that people have built. In fact, I have a picture from one of these movie sets, and I just think it's so neat because they're just reframing the perspective. So by using perspective, they can make it seem like it's something that it's not. But again, it's always, you're still seeing something real. It's not really a lie or a deception. Everybody who goes to the movies know that when Godzilla is going through a city destroying everything, they didn't actually send a monster through a city to do that. You know, all this talk about perspective, there is a Bible verse on perspective that I love. It is from Matthew 6:22, and it says, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, the whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Now, the Jewish idiom for unhealthy eye is actually kind of like an evil eye, and it's about perspective. It's about looking at the world from a perspective of fear and selfishness, of focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do have, focusing on the negative instead of the positive, really kind of being pessimistic. So to talk about the eye being filled with light is to talk about a way of perceiving the world. It's about what you're paying attention to and what power we give to those things that we pay attention to. So there's such a thing as spiritual optimism, and it's seeing the hand of God providing and protecting and doing good in the world. It's, yes, there are negative things in the world, but it's being able to see that there's always also good. You know, that is something that I struggled with for a long time. I am a natural pessimist, and it took conscious effort for me to start seeing the good in things. And what surprised me when I started really focusing on is, even though there have been some hard situations in my life, some things that have happened that I think it would be easy to say, nothing good can come out of this, there has always been something good. Even the COVID pandemic, that big lockdown, it was awful, but my relationship with my kids got stronger, my relationship with God got stronger, and I found a little niche to kind of thrive in. So there was something good in there, even though the overall experience was probably pretty bad for me. So I'm going to challenge you to look at reframing your perspective. Is there a situation that is negative that you can look to find some good in? Even if it's just saying, I can't find the good, but I trust that God is doing good in this situation. So that's my challenge to you for this week, is to look for the good every day. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.